Hello everyone, ProPilot World here. Today we're going to talk about DME arcs and how to do them and figure them out in about 5 seconds. Now you won't be able to do it in 5 seconds, but you'll be able to figure it out in 5 seconds. DME arcs can be a little bit intimidating and there's no reason. I'm going to presume that anyone watching this has some basic instrument and aviation knowledge. So I'm not going to go into great detail about what DME arcs are, lead-in radials, all that. Basically, this is a real-world type video for a real-world type situation. So when you get handed in your Cherokee 140 with your VOR heads and you get told to do a DME arc to shoot an approach, that you can figure it out really quickly and really easily. And you're going to do that all by just looking at this VOR head that's in your airplane. It's that simple. So we got NavTrainer here. It's an app you can get on your phone. Probably on your computer too, I don't know, but I got it on my phone. Where Nav 1 is here, and this is VOR, that's the VOR head, and this is the VOR, and that's Nav 1. We're 5.6 miles out. And we're going to pretend like that VOR is co-located on an airport, and that airport has east-west runways, 27 and 9. So in our scenario, we're going to land to the east on runway 9. We're going to shoot an approach. We're going to have a 5-mile DME arc. We're 5.6 out. And the controller is going to say, there's a radio that you lead in on inbound. And that lead-in radial is on the approach plate, and it's going to tell you what radial and how far the DME arc out is. But he might just give it to you and say, okay, hey, give you your tail number and say intercept the 5-mile DME arc cleared for the localizer runway 9 at XYZ airport. And you're going to copy that clearance back. And then you're going to sit there and try to remember, how do I figure out the arc and which way and where am I and all that situational awareness stuff. Well, I'm going to show you how to figure it out really quick. So here's what you do. The first thing you need to do is figure out where you are in relation to that VOR that you've been told to arc to. And you do that by, this indication tells us we're somewhere southwest of the VOR based on what it has right now. But the first thing you need to do is center it up. So if it's southwest, I need to turn this, and there we are. And we're correct sensing. That's really important too. Make sure you're sensing correctly that your VOR is. So that our heading is 020, we centered up on 020, so we know that we're sensing correctly. And you just look at the bottom of the VOR at this orange index line, and it says 200 there at the bottom, doesn't it, of this VOR? And that's where you are. That was the most important first step. Where are you? Well, I'm 5.6 miles out on the 200 radial. I'm flying from the southwest barely to the northeast barely. South-southwest to north-northeast. All right, so now we know where we are. That helps. So we're here. Where do we want to go? Well, we want to go to runway 9, which let's just pretend like the inbound course on the localizer is 090. Could be 093 or 091, whatever, but let's just say 090. So we're here. We want to go here, right? 090 is east. We're here. We want to go here. Well, how do we get there? Well, we have to be west of the field to land east of the field. If we're east of the field, to land east of the field, that's going to take a really long time and a lot of gas. So if we're here and we want to go here, we just look to the reciprocal. It's there. That's where we want to be or go to start this approach, to get to the west of the field. So while I'm here, I want to get here. I got to get over here to do it. Now, that's easy. That just tells me when I get to my DME that I need to turn the 1% of my true airspeed out. I'm just going to make a turn to the left initially because where I want to be is over here to the left. And what heading? Well, you don't have to do any math. Just look at this index. This index says 290. Well, that's the heading I'm going to turn to. We could flip this around really easy and just say, I'm here. Let's say I want to land on runway 27. Do the approach there and arc on the 5-mile arc to that. I'd just go, I'm here. I want to get here, so I got to go there, which means I need to turn at my appropriate DME mileage out to intercept the 5-mile DME fix at 110 there under that lower line or that index line. So on the VOR. So if I was landing to the west, I'd say I'm here. I want to get here, so I got to go here, so I need to make a right turn initially to arc left, and I need to turn to a 110 heading. So it works in any direction with any number, but let's just, on the inbound. So let's just go back to our original though. We're going to land to the east. So I'm here, I want to go here. I got to get here to do it, and I'm going to turn to 290 heading to do that initially, and then, so on left turn initially, and then I'm going to arc to the right. And that arc to the right is important because arcing to the right means that I'm going to twist and turn to the right, meaning my numbers are going to get bigger and bigger. And what I mean by numbers is if you turn right, then these numbers get bigger. If you turn left, they get smaller. So, you know, if I'm on a 090 heading and I turn right, then the next thing I'm going to pass through is 091, 092. So you're going to do the same thing here. You're going to twist these so that these numbers get bigger because you're arcing right. So let's fly this and see if it really works. And let's do something fun. Let's make contrails on, and wind's off, so it's a no wind condition, but you know, if you have wind, you have to, you know, correct for that. And then we'll fly, and we're going to do, like I said, we're 5.6 out. We're going to do the 5-mile DME arc to shoot the localizer into runway 9. And I don't know if this contrail is going to show up, but I hope it does because it'll kind of help you see the arc. So let's fly it. So here we go. We're flying inbound. So he says, hey, controller says, hey, 5-mile DME arc, runway 9. You go, okay, well, oh, brother, center this up. I'm here. I want to go here. Got to get here. So I need to turn there. Figured it out. Already figured it out. Well, there we are, 5.1. Let's just make our turn. Like I said, there's no radius in this thing. So there's our turn to 290. And then we turn left initially. Now we're going to turn right the rest of the way, but we also twist right. Make the number bigger. Let's go to 030. And you saw what it did. It moved the VOR radial out in front of us, and now we're flying past it. And look, we're 5 nautical miles out. That's our DME arc, and we're flying through the radial. So we turn 10, twist 10. Now let's do it again. So let's turn 10. Roughly, this is pretty sensitive. Twist 10. Put it back out in front of us. There we go. So we turn 10, twisting 10 here. It comes through again. So it tells us, hey, we're going through the 230 radial right now. We're about to center up with it. We're 5.1 out. So what do? Gets kind of, and at 5.1, you're like, oh, hey, I'm drifting out a little bit, so I'll turn a little bit sooner and maybe turn a touch more. And I'll head into the VOR a little bit. And so I'll turn and then I'll twist again to get that out in front of us. There we go. And I hope you can see the arc that we're making. Look at that cool arc we're making. So now we're 5.2. So, hey, you know what? Let's twist a little bit more and then turn a little bit more. And there we go. Now we're back at 5.1. We're arcing perfect, all within acceptable tolerances. And we're arcing around to shoot the localizer to runway 9. Now, what's 9 degrees less of runway 9 is 360. And so that way we know when we're on a heading of north, we are going to be 90 degrees intercept to our inbound approach course, which is important because that means we're right on it. So when you see that, so let's turn 10, twist 10, and you can see we're getting closer and closer and closer. We're 5.1 out. Here comes the needle again, and look, there's east right there. We're almost to our inbound course. So we turn, let's turn 10, and remember we said when we get to north on the heading, that'll be 90 degrees to our inbound course, which means we're there. There's 5 miles, so let's turn 10. Let's just, turn 10 to east, twist 10. And now look, you can see the radial right there as it's moved, and we're heading right towards it. Now, as we get closer to it and it starts to come alive, typically approach plates have a lead-in radial that tell you to turn, so you can turn to a heading like 30 degrees to intercept, but we don't have that since we're not having an approach plate. But here we go. We're getting it's coming alive. It's a VOR, but we'd have, hopefully we'd have the localizer set in here, so that way we'd see it, but since I don't have a localizer, I'm limited by what I can do here. So we're almost on it, we're almost on it. Almost, we're 4.8 out, we're still within tolerances. Totally legal. We haven't blundered off into any place. And there's east, so let's just make our turn to east now because that's our inbound course, 090, remember? And now we're tracking inbound. Now, what we can do is just now we're out of the arc stage. You can see our arc here. We're out of the arc stage, and now we're in the final, approach stage of inbound. We're inbound. So we can go, okay, well, hey, you know what? We're getting a little off. We can make our, adjustments that we need to make. Let's fly this way, a little bit more south to get back that needle centered up. But the arc's done. We're done with the arc. It was that easy. I was here. I needed to get here, so I had to turn left to get over here to get to it, and then what was the heading I needed to go to? And it was that simple. So as you can see, we're going to track that all the way in. I could speed it up. In fact, it gets back on 090 perfectly. Speed it up. We're going to fly right over that VOR. Doing 475 knots now. It's going to be hard to land, but full flaps, right? So there we go. We track it all the way in. It's that simple. So let's stop the flying and just review real quick. And we'll put the airplane back where it was. Okay, and there you can see the arc. So we'll grab this plane, put it back on the original heading of 020. Oops, I'm sorry, that's the VOR, my bad. Put it back on the original heading of 020, put the VOR, the VOR on that, and the airplane heading on that. We'll stick it back on, center it up, and put it back where it was, where we made the turn. And you can see the arc that we made. And all we did is we said, okay, to get to runway 9, I'm here, centered up, I'm here, I got to get here. How do I get there? Well, I got to go over here to get there. So here, reciprocal is there. What heading do I turn to? It's right underneath that index, and that's it. That literally 3 seconds, you could figure out a DME arc. I mean, that fast. It's amazing because I see students just sweat and sweat and sweat and try to do all this crazy math. And you can go, I'm here, got to go here, got to get here to do that, and I need to turn that heading, and then just wait for the mileage. I mean, I have the arc figured out if I get an arc before the controller is even finished giving me the clearance, and it's that easy. All right, guys, any questions? Put them in the comment section, and I'll try to help you out as much as I can. Next, we'll do holds because those are easy too. Thanks for watching, and safe flying.